When I first started making videos, I used to think that regular room light would cut it to get that nice, evenly lit studio setup. You know, like the one that MKBHD has. His videos always made things look so realistic and so effortless, so yeah, that's what I thought. But what you're looking at right now is my regular room light, and clearly it's not cutting it, so let's fix that. Now this is more like it. Now today's video has nothing to do with studio lighting and has everything to do with what you take out of the studio. Today, I'm going to show you guys the everyday essentials that I carry with me in this bag, so yeah, roll the intro. So how this is going to work is I'm just going to go through each compartment one by one and show you what I put in those compartments, or if I use those compartments at all. This is the WANDRD VEER 18 liter. It's a very interesting bag, not only because it carries gear, but it has another feature that I'll show you guys later that is super cool. So the main access to this bag is on the side. It has a nice zipper here, and it opens up to show you what's inside the bag. Now, the number one thing that you guys are here for probably is the camera. So the camera I carry with me every day is the Nikon Z6, but since the Nikon Z6 is filming this video, I opted for a visual representation with my older Nikon D750. Still a great camera, but it's not the one I carry with me every day. Nowadays, I just carry the Nikon D750 as a backup camera for shoots, and just in case I want to have an extra camera to shoot other things when I'm filming videos. I really love the Nikon Z6 for a number of reasons, and I even made a video about it. So if you want to know why, check over here or over here. It's somewhere there. I'll link it down below even. So yeah, check out that video and why I love the Nikon Z6. But yeah, the Nikon Z6 usually goes in this compartment here. There is a camera cube in this bag. It carries cameras, but you can also switch it out if you don't want to carry a camera, and you can fill it with other stuff. But it's really nice that this bag has a camera compartment. So the next thing that I bring is an extra lens. Right now, again, visual representation. The extra lens that I usually bring is the Nikon Z35mm 1.8S, which is filming this right now, so this is gonna have to sit in. This is the Nikon Z24-70 f4S. I like to switch between the two lenses, so usually this is my vlogging lens when I just want to have regular wide and telephoto shots. But recently when I want to take photos, I find that I grab the 35mm 1.8S, and it's been a fun new lens. I usually shoot 50mm for my portraits, but I'm trying to switch things up with a 35. And it's a lot of fun to use because it's native to the Z6, so it works perfectly. But yeah, if I'm not using the 35 1.8, I'm usually using the 50mm 1.8. The general rule is I always have a portrait lens in my bag just in case, and I always have the 24-70 f4S. And the last thing in the main compartment that I always bring around, even if I live in the Philippines where it's really hot, is a jacket. I usually like to take my nice Nikon jacket because I gotta rep the Nikon stuff, and it is also Uniqlo, which is my favorite brand. All of my clothes are from Uniqlo. Right now I'm dressed in Uniqlo head to toe. And so when you put Nikon and Uniqlo together, you just can't go wrong. So yeah, this fits nicely inside the bag. Gives it some extra padding for the extra lens. Now we're done with this compartment. Now for the top compartment. Honestly, the top compartment is my favorite compartment because it's so accessible. So when you just plop the bag like this, when you're in the car just riding somewhere, easily accessible, the top compartment. Now, what I carry here is, of course, photographers always gotta have a microfiber cloth for the lenses. Another thing that's super useful when you're on the commute or just walking around the city shooting is a pair of earphones. In this case, I choose the Apple AirPods. They're my earphones of choice because they're so easy to use. You just basically open it, put it in your ears, and you're good to go. And the last thing in the top compartment is, of course, a power bank. Right now I'm using one by the brand called Momax. What's nice is that you don't need to bring any other cables. It has built-in cables. So it has a lightning cable, which is the one that Apple uses. And if you have an Android or you have an iPad, it also has a USB-C cable. So that's useful, and it folds nicely into the power bank itself. Very minimal, black, and it just feels nice. And it has 10,000 milliamp hours, so pretty good. It lasts me more than a day. So that's about it for the top compartment. And the last thing that I carry with me in this bag is a water bottle. So yeah, this bag has a pouch for a water bottle. And what's nice is that even if you access the main compartment here like this, sideways, the water bottle doesn't fall out. Alright, so that's about it for what's inside the bag. Now let's go on to talking about the bag itself. Now this, as I've introduced to you guys, is the WANDRD VEER 18L. It's one of WANDRD's brand new bags, and if you guys remember, WANDRD is one of my favorite bag companies. They're the same guys that made the Provoke, which is what I take with me when I travel to different places. But this is more of an everyday bag. There are 4 reasons why I really love this bag, and I want to run you guys through those 4 reasons. The first reason is that it fits inside my backpack. Now let me start by saying that the VEER will not replace my Provoke 21 liters. The reason for this is that these 2 bags serve different purposes. The Provoke 21 liters serves as my main gear bag, which I take with me going to the destination. But when I get to the destination and get settled, the VEER 18L is what I use when I just want to go explore the city. The reason for this is that I don't need all my gear with me when I go out into the city. Stuff like my laptop and chargers are things that I don't want to carry with me all day, and that's where the VEER comes in. It fits nice and compact inside my main gear bag, and it folds up really nice and small so that it doesn't take a lot of space. When folded down, it has a really small footprint, but when expanded into a bag, it has a generous amount of space. The second reason is that it supports my gear and my bag. The thing with these kinds of small packable bags is that they have to be able to roll up and clump up into a nice small package so that, you know, they'd be small. But the trade-off there is that it doesn't really have a lot of form. Like take this bag for instance. It's really small and light, and it can be rolled up into something and packed away really small, but it doesn't have any form, and it's just like, you know, really formless, I guess. Yeah, basically when you put stuff inside, they just kind of move around and hit each other. So that is a huge drawback of having these kinds of packable bags. Now the VEER solves this problem by introducing an inflatable spine and an inflatable camera cube. This right here is the inflatable spine. You can see that this is what goes on your back, so it has form and padding, so the bag itself has some kind of form and things don't just sink to the bottom. Apart from that, it also has an inflatable camera cube so that you can put your camera in here and it'll protect your gear. How it works is pretty obvious. Basically, when you want to pack it up, the air comes out, and when you want to use it, you can inflate it by blowing onto this nozzle over here, and it'll have some padding for your gear. And this just goes nicely inside the bag. So when you want to use it as a bag, it has all the function that you'd expect of a camera bag. When packed, it can be rolled up and flattens, but when used, it can provide support for your gear and your bag. The third reason I really like this is that it's water resistant. Oftentimes when you're going out and about, you never really know what kind of weather you're gonna face. In the city, you face the risk of rain, and when going into the wilderness, you face the risk of all of the different elements. Especially when traveling around the Philippines, more often than not, there are lots of beaches, so you'll be probably riding boats, and salt water is the worst enemy of any electronic. I've had my camera die because of salt water getting into it, and it was not a fun experience. So having a bag that's weather resistant is really, really great. And I'm happy to report that the VEER is as weather resistant as its older brother, the Provoke. One time I even spilled water inside the bottle pocket here, and instead of water seeping into different places, it created a pool of water at the bottom of the pouch, and I just had to flip the backpack upside down, and the water all came out without getting any of my gear wet. And the last thing I like about this bag is that it's not just for photographers. You don't need to be a photographer to make use of this bag. The strongest selling point of this bag is that it can fold down into a really small package, and then when you want to use it, it's very usable and has a lot of space. If you're on a trip and you don't need to carry a camera, you can always take the camera cube out, and it'll make a lot more space for different kinds of things. Now, I have been talking a lot of good things about this bag, but it also has some of its drawbacks or some points for improvement. Number one is that it can only carry one camera. If you're like me, I usually have one camera out and one camera in my backpack, so usually that's not a problem. But sometimes I want to put both cameras in my backpack because I'm going to do something that requires both hands, or I just don't want to have my camera out and exposed. So it'd be really nice if there was more space for other camera cubes that you can inflate. And while we're on the topic of camera cubes, I think that there could be some kind of Velcro that would attach inside the bag and on the camera cube so that it doesn't move around when you're carrying it, and so you can secure the camera cube in its place. And probably the last but very minor thing is that maybe the insides could be a different color, because let's face it, most of my equipment is black. Most of the cases I use are black, my cameras are black, my lenses are black, my jacket is black. So like when everything is black, it's kind of hard to find things. So if the inside lining of the camera bag was a brighter color, it would be a lot easier to find things inside the bag. So yeah, that's about it for my everyday essentials. Those are the things that I carry with me every day. If you're interested in any of the things I talked about, I will put product links down below. Of course, they are affiliate links, so if you choose to decide to buy any of those things, use the links down in the description. It helps the channel a lot. I hear a lot of YouTubers saying that, so I'm gonna say it as well. But yeah, it really does help me make these videos much better for you guys. So as you can see, we got extra lights. A lot of fun. I really love improving the lighting setup and the audio setup. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and hit that bell so that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And before you go, leave a comment down below of your everyday essentials. I'd love to hear what you guys have in your backpacks or in your bags that you use every day. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now it's time for me to use my hand to cover the lens so it'll turn black, and then music will start playing and the credits will start rolling, and then it's the end of the video. You can do it now. The camera and the lens, because they are just both